Welcome to the Comic Book Shop of Doom. I'm your host. This video is not for children, so if you're under 13, get your parents' permission to watch this. I don't need a $40,000 fine from COPA, YouTube, or the government. Okay, there's rumors flying around. Raven did a shoot interview with Hannibal TV, and he said that he's heard through the grapevine, so he didn't reveal his sources, that the NWA with Billy Corgan he's thinking about shutting it down. So this thing has been a mess since day one, where Jim Cornette cracked that one joke that everybody took as racist, and they ran him out of the promotion. And then the producer, what was that guy's name? Man, I can't remember that guy's name now. But he had some sexual harassment issues from a couple of years ago, like 15 years ago. So he ended up, they say he resigned, but it was more or less he was forced out. So he was the producer of all of their programming, and he was like the video edit guy. So now they're not making anything. There's no Power. There's none of these shows. Carneyland, in my opinion, was one of the worst things I've ever seen in the wrestling business. It was just the shits. And what was that guy's name? I can't even remember the dude's name. But anyway, yeah, he was the main producer for the NWA, and everything. I told my one friend about this, that everything that they did was wrong. They filmed in Georgia at some expensive studio instead of getting a local warehouse. Billy Corgan's from Chicago. He should have based that here. And he could have ran out of the warehouse and filmed his shows, but they soaked them for money. And then now there's an article up on some of the websites that said that he offered Zicky Dice $250 a month to work the NWA, and he turned it down to sign a deal. And he offered Ricky Starks $250 a week, and he turned it down, and he's in AEW now. Thunder Rosa's under a deal with them, not saying how much she's making. And then they said that Allison Kay is going to continue working for them. And then at least Nick Aldis has a deal with them in some form. And he just signed a deal with this Cella Toys to do toys of himself. So it's not even the NWA. It's Nick Aldis on his own. And then Eli Drake has a deal with them. He was getting paid. We don't know what. And then how many other people are under deals, we don't know. But everything was just a mess ever since he left that Resistance. And I know those guys that ran that company, they weren't happy with the whole deal with that. He left and all that. And then he tried to buy into TNA by basically taking over TNA when it was going to go bankrupt. He kept loaning them money for TV tapings in exchange for points in the company. And then they found out that Dixie Carter was selling everybody and their mother pieces of the company. So what do you really owe at the end of the day when 300% of the company's been sold? So yeah, it's all screwed up. And now they said that he's disillusioned. This is Billy Corgan's disillusioned with the wrestling business because of this. And I could see why. But I think the main problem, he listened to all the wrong people. And the other thing is, I don't think he has enough money, even though he's got rock star money and all this. I don't think it was enough to run something like this. In today's day and age where you got to do these pay-per-views and you got to have these guys under big deals in order to keep the talent. He just, didn't have the right guys. I think Nick Aldis as the champion was fucking boring. Just boring. I mean, he comes out in a suit and tie trying to make it like, he's another Ric Flair, and it just didn't work. His best work, in my opinion, was when he was a tag team with Samoa Joe in TNA. And I never was a fan of Samoa Joe, but for some reason, those two guys clicked. And I was like, wow, this is a really good tag team out of the blue. So... And then the producer that will name nameless because I can't remember who the guy was. Man, that's bad. I must be getting Alzheimer's or something. Because usually these names snap right to me and I can't remember the guy. But he was the linchpin that kind of screwed it up. That and the coronavirus. So, nobody's running really live shows with fans. And you know what another thing is? A big screw up, I think, on everybody's part. Nobody had the foresight to tape 3 or 4 matches a week extra, just as backup in case you ever needed programming, and do that continuously. So if something happens, you have a library of unreleased shows that you could show it's new footage. And just, you don't even need storylines, just make it matches, for whatever, the contendership or whatever. I mean, it's just guys wrestling to advance to the next level. But everything, they want to do storyline based stuff all the time now. And some people aren't worth storylines. So, I mean, that's pretty bad to say that. But the money, I wonder how much money Billy Corgan wasted on this. Because, he's got the rights to the Paul Bosch library from Houston, but he doesn't own it. The Bosch family trust or whatever has it, and he's just basically leasing it. But I don't even know if that's on anywhere. My one friend said you could see all that stuff on YouTube if you know where to look for it. So basically, they got a library that has been exposed, like the power shows are all on YouTube. And then the Carney Land is on there and all those other ones. And, so they have no library. All they have basically are, they have copyright, the belt, and the name, the trademark. So, I mean, at this point, that's what the NWA is worth if he was going to sell it. Who would want to buy it just for the history? And would somebody want to restart it right away if it's tarnished? So it's in the library. What's it worth when it's all over YouTube? And that he put in more money than he put in a lot more money into it than he could probably get for it with just filming the footage. So, I mean, that's really screwed up, So we'll see where this goes. But, yeah, it's just a shame if they shut it down. It's just another avenue. NWA was okay when it started out, and then it just started to suck. And then it got to the point where I didn't even want to watch it at the end. I was watching it begrudgingly. But like I said, I think that he listened to all the wrong people. And I think maybe they took him to the cleaners. Who knows? I mean, I don't know the financials of it. But you could see that, it costs some money to film that stuff. And I think that they should have did pay-per-views right away, at least to try to make some money. And the stuff, don't show it on YouTube. And then, they'll have a pay-per-view. A week later, it's on YouTube. So what's the point of that? Why pay for it when it's going to be free later on? I mean, they could have made some money seriously out of it. The other thing that was really strange was, and it's not just my opinion, other people thought it sucked too, was every week the audience would be halved. And this was free stuff. So you'd see it on YouTube, it'd be free. And they started out with, I don't know, like 160,000 people watched it. The next week it was down to like 100,000. Then it was down to 50,000. And I mean, I'd like to see the numbers. I got to look it up. That and the name of this guy, the producer, that's my fault for not coming in prepared. I thought I would have remembered it, but I had a brain fart and I just completely forgot this guy's name. But yeah, his accusations from a while back where he had some chick living with him, and then they said that, he wanted sex for favors and stuff and to live there and everything, and then the chick told him off. And he denies it, but then he ended up quitting. He says he quit, but was he forced out? We don't know, but he was the main production guy. So until they get a production guy, they have no new programming. So we'll see. I really hope that this isn't the end of this, because I'd like to see this live on, because it's just another place for the guys to work. But how much damage is enough, So we'll see. Everybody have a good one.